The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Gallowgateshots, a podcast for a live match reaction. As you can see, I am joined by Matthew.
Hello.
Matthew.
Yes.
You're mostly, I would say, pessimistic about every situation in life.
Everything.
Every situation in
Yeah.
But you have not been able to take that smile off your face since you walked into this building.
Not at all. Not at all. And we'll get into why. It's got nothing to do with football. It really is. It has though, really. Yeah.
Before we get started, if anybody does have any questions, send them our way. Like I said, we will be focusing on today's match against Southampton, which saw Newcastle United absolutely demolish yet another team.
Yeah.
And fail to get out of first gear.
Did they even start the car?
I don't think they did.
Oh, they started the car and there was a flat tyre.
I don't think they did. But here we go, mate. Going into the game, I think everybody was probably confident in this one to a certain extent. Actually, I'm going to let you do the pleasure of saying the magic words, mate.
Oh, those ones that that other lad does.
The other lad.
I can't remember his name now.
Aye, mate, I'll let you I forgot about that.
Has it been done with a stubby before?
Always.
Is it always done with a stubby?
Like has a stubby.
We won you now. Get in. I've had the pleasure of doing that twice this season. It's getting nicer every time.
Long may it continue, mate, because I've got a feeling that this is going to be happening a hell of a lot more going
Don't
forward.
jinx it.
100% going to be happening a lot more than what we're used to, mate. But yeah, going into the game, I think everybody, they probably are pretty confident because of the run of form which we've been on. Southampton had won one in the last five, where we had only, I think it was they had drawn one in the last five. I think I'd won the rest.
Yeah. I mean, they hadn't kept a clean sheet. They kept one clean sheet since we played them last season at home. They've not managed to, do much attacking wise either. So, I mean, I was saying this before that this on paper, all signs pointed to a Newcastle win, but we'll get into it in a bit. It wasn't as comfortable as people may think or the scoreline suggested. But one of the reasons I am so delighted is in the past when we've hit a good run of form and we play the not in form team, whether we play well or not, we usually don't get the 3 points.
One of the phrases that obviously we used to say on the All Smiling Faces podcast is Dr. Newcastle will see you now.
Yep.
Dr. Newcastle has retired. He is out of business.
He's done.
No longer.
Malpractice.
Shut.
Yeah.
Shut. Brexit has a huge impact on Dr. Newcastle, so he is not around any longer. But I said we were going to focus on the game, but we're not going to dissect it minute by minute and things like that. I just want to focus on a lot of players, which I'll probably cover as well on tomorrow's recording on the podcast too. But once again, Miggy Almiron, it's a different goal this time as well.
Yeah,
it's different to the ones which we've seen.
It was a weird sort of amalgamation of some of the goals he scored recently. It's where he's made a great run, but then he sort of bundled it. Although, I'm going to ask the question now. Did he mean what? I think he sort of did mean what he did. He meant it. But it was stupid defending. Don't get me wrong. Stupid defended by Maitland-Niles. But he saw him coming and thought, right, I'm going to delay my touch. And then he's got it on his left foot. And now I'm just like, if he gets it on his left foot now.
So if Bergkamp is getting the credit for that touch, I'm giving Almiron the credit for the touch.
Yeah. Graham Souness didn't want to give him it.
He definitely didn't want to give him it. But he definitely dinks it past him. Like, he really does.
He sort of just goes forward and then takes his foot away. Yeah.
It's shocking defending from start to finish. It really is. It's absolute schoolboy stuff. That is just players running as fast as they can towards the ball.
Yeah,
but it's just an informed player, Miggy Almiron. Give him the ball in the box, and you're confident that he's going to at least hit the target, if not score. And he does it again, mate. He really does. And I know everybody jokes and laughs about the whole Jack Grealish comment, but this is down to Almiron's confidence.
Let's forget about that now,
Exactly.
It was fun while it lasted, but now it's to the point where it's like we're seeing something. I'm not going to say special, but I'm going to say it's.
No, I think you can say special.
Yeah.
I think you can, and I think it's down to the likes of Eddie Howe, the coach and staff, bringing that confidence in Miggy and the players around him, because the partnership which he has between Trippier at the back and Bruno going forward,
when he comes
as well,
across and puts the ball over, yeah,
triangles left, right, and centre between those three, and we're finally seeing the player which we thought we were buying, because he used to do this every single week in the MLS, which yes, we know it's a completely different league, but
when we signed him, I've been one of the ones who banged the drum for Miggy all the time. When we signed him, he seemed like he brought a new dynamic to that really poor Rafa Benitez side, because obviously on paper we weren't very good, and all of a sudden we had this player who was quick, and he give you this little like sort of extra option in breaking away. That his debut against Huddersfield, his home debut, where he broke away and got the foul, and then he broke away and hit the post, and he got Tommy Smith sent off, I think. I just thought we've got a dangerous player here. And then once the management changed, because obviously he got an injury that saw him only make about 10 appearances under Rafa.
Yeah. Under
Bruce, he just didn't know what he was. He was a lost boy. He played like a lost boy. He gave you everything he could. He ran around, but it was just a headless chicken, which led to a lot of people who aren't Newcastle supporters, or some Newcastle supporters, saying he's shit. He's not good enough.
Probably a lot of Newcastle supporters, mate.
I personally just thought, like, I felt harsh putting that moniker on him, because I thought we know he's got a bit about him, and he has that pace. He's playing within himself, and now I feel like these shackles are off now, and
I think
the system helps as well.
I'm never one of these fans to say to openly criticize players, call them shite, and say whatever you've got to say about them, especially on social media platforms like we used to seeing these days. But I thought, come the summer after the takeover, I thought Miggy would have probably been one of the casualties that would have found himself not necessarily being sold, but falling down the pecking order.
If we were to make the calibre sign, people think we're going to,
exactly that. But credit to him that he has stuck and grafted, mate, absolutely grafted to. That's his position now, 100%. And if Newcastle are going into this January transfer window looking for a right winger, then I'm questioning that to a certain degree, because of the form that Miggy is on.
It makes that potential James Maddison move make a little bit more sense now, in terms of, I know James Maddison could play out wide, but he doesn't. Like, if you sign James Maddison, he's going to potentially still be able to be utilised in a team where Miggy starts. I mean, it's funny to ask, like, imagine if, say, Maximin and Isaac didn't get the injuries they did. Does Miggy get the chance to flourish? And we get this weird sliding doors moment where them injuries literally has, not just the Grealish comments, but them two injuries has expedited Miggy being into the team and be able to do what he's done. It's like I say, it's a weird sliding doors moment, and I'm so glad. Not glad that they've got injured, but if that's what
they've had the
it meant,
because of that, though.
You know, if someone's going to say, look, they're going to get injured, but Miggy's going to go and score 4 or 5 and the same amount of games and score 7 goals already this season, you'd be like, okay, yeah.
And I've mentioned this a couple of times, and yes, we're focusing on the season, but pre-season he was on absolute fire as well.
The Benfica game, I remember that very well.
He came storming into this season, and he's continued that run of form. And I think, do you know what is? It worries me slightly that the World Cup is coming out. I know it's coming at a wrong time because it's in the winter, but for Miggy, maybe not necessarily the club as in Newcastle United, but I think for Miggy, maybe it is coming at the wrong time, because he does have such a great run of form, and he's so successful in front of goal at the moment that I would hate for this to dampen that.
To kill the momentum.
You might look at the other side of the fence and think he gets a chance to
recharge
his batteries and things like that. But for me, just keep the season going.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
It's strange because momentum's a real thing in football. Of course it is. We've saw that firsthand from January onwards after making our signings last season. But I'm hoping, and there is some optimism, which is like blood from a stone from me. But I just think that maybe this break's going to come up at a perfect time for us, because you're seeing now that we're getting like even Miggy at the end of that game looked like he was like, take us off because I'm knackered. Not that he didn't look injured. You could see him sort of wincing at the staff saying, I'm all right. I'm sort of, you could see he was like, I'm just tight. Maybe we get these 2 games out of the way and you know, hopefully get through the next round of the cup. And I'm not going to lie to you, Chris, right now, I know it sounds daft, but after that result today, I don't give a shit about that Chelsea game. I obviously I give a shit, but I'm like, if you'd offered me this amount of points at this point now, it's like Chelsea's a bonus game to free it, and the way they played today, then maybe
it's a free hit on the other side of the fence, what we used to, though.
Yeah. It's not free as in, oh, we're playing one of the top 6 and course they're going to batter us, so let's see what happens. It's a free as in, like,
it could damage we.
It's not going to derail the season. It would be shit to go into, after such a great start of the season, get second loss, but it's just, what is it now? 6 wins out of 7.
That's 5 wins in a row.
Yeah, but 6 out of 7 with the Old Trafford draw. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous.
Conceding 11 times this season.
Yeah,
that is unheard of.
Yeah,
the best defense.
We've still got the best defense because of City conceding yesterday. So
it's remote. I never thought I'd be sat here as a Newcastle fan saying that we currently have the best defense in the Premier League
going into Christmas.
It's honestly like lost for words, but with comments like that. And so we're going to half time with the lead 1-0 up, thanks to Miggy and that break. And just before half time, it's a couple of minutes before half time, Trippier goes down, holding his thigh. You would say his left thigh, I believe it was. Were you worried at that point? Not just for Trippier, because once again we've got that break coming up, but obviously that affects him going to the likes of the World Cup, and things like that. As a if you take your Newcastle hat off and put your England hat on,
of course,
are you worried at that point?
Yeah, of course you are. I mean, it's crazy how blessed we are as a nation in the fullback areas, but then the other hand taketh away, and we've been getting so many injuries. But I always thought Kieran Trippier was just going to be like a stalwart right back starting. But he's so important in Newcastle because straight away I just thought about the game because I thought Manquillo's going to have to come on and he hasn't kicked the ball all season. And, oh shit, we're going to look so vulnerable down that right side. But thankfully he played on. It came off in the 80th and might have just felt a little twinge or something. Personally, I don't think Eddie Howe's a manager to push him too far if it was like one of those ones where he could really do himself some damage. So I think once we got that third goal, and thankfully, he even had a hand in the third goal, got the assist. I think once we got the 75th minute, just all right, it's time to come off now. Yeah. And it was good.
We've seen it a few times this season where Howe has made that decision.
He's decided he thinks the game's won.
We're done. The players come back out after half time, and Wilson's nowhere to be seen. Chris Wood's coming on, and. Do you know what it is? We see these sort of injuries with Wilson. We're used to that as Newcastle fans. We really are. Yeah. But my heart broke slightly because that may have dampened his chances of going to the World Cup. And I've sat here before and been really selfish saying I would gladly not see Wilson go to the World Cup because I want him to be here at Newcastle, performing well for Newcastle. But when obviously he was subbed off at half time, I thought, oh, hope to God this isn't going to affect him in the next handful of weeks. I think obviously now we've heard that it was just his illness still. He didn't look himself in the first half at all. His touch was off. His pressing wasn't as rigorous as it normally is, I don't think. Know how true this is, and I don't want to be one of these ITKs like you see on Twitter, but apparently he had COVID. Well... I don't even know what COVID is anymore. Exactly. What is it? It's just a cold now. But like he was actually sat on the bench after with his snood up, and then the picture at the end, like the picture they always do. He's still got his snood on, as if like, oh, I just want to infect people. Yeah. But who knows? He could just have a cold. I mean, if it was COVID, I don't see why he wouldn't mention it. But whatever, it doesn't. For me, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. It's still like a taboo subject. Yeah, I guess. Whatever. You're allowed to play or you're not allowed to play. But should you be wearing a snood? I mean, yeah. Remember the snoods? I just think of Wayne Routledge when I think of snoods. It's sort of a moot point. Cow's opinion, as Joey Tribbiani would say. It's a friend's reference there for you. I got it. Well, I didn't get it, but I know who Joey Tribbiani is. Yeah, but like it is what it is. Like you can't. For me, he was off. His touch was off. He wasn't pressing as much, and I think he just got to half time and thought, "Screw it." And I don't think it hurts his chances of the World Cup too much because of how still in form he is. We'll see what happens, but for me, he should definitely still be going as just an option. And I want him to go purely for him. If all goes well and he gets limited minutes at the World Cup, at least he can say, "I played at the World Cup," and that is going to be him checked off. Weight off his shoulders, and he's just going to be... It's a bit of a bucket list tick off, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. And he can say, I went to a World Cup, and then just like, from now on, I'm just going to concentrate on Newcastle. And I'm not saying he never hasn't been concentrating on us, but
I wish him the best. I hope he gets in that squad. We know Trippier will be. Hope. And you never know, you might see Mr. Dan Burn there as well.
Yeah, Chris Wood did get a goal though.
Oh, he did. And he fucking got a goal. Like,
I am chuffed to bits
that
he got that.
Buzzing.
I celebrated that goal more than that Almiron goal because Chris Wood, he's needed that goal. He definitely needed it. His impact since signing from Newcastle, yes, we went on that great run of form last season, but his goal tally hasn't been impressive.
And that's what you buy. I know that's what you buy strikers for, but I'm not saying I think he's a quality player. I'm not saying I think it was a great acquisition for £25 million. I don't think anyone does, but I just think there needs to be a little bit of perspective on where we took him from, a place where he was a strike partner with Ashley Barnes, scored at least double figures for 4 seasons in a row, which not many strikers have done in the Premier League. And we made him lead a line in a struggling team. And all he was brought in is to just graft his tits off. Yeah. He has had chances, don't get me wrong, and he's missed them. I remember that Man City one where St. Maximin put it across and he missed. And after St. made those comments about, there was better strikers up front, my numbers would be better. Maybe taken out of context, but I digress. But for Wood, when people tell me how bad he is, it annoys me a little bit because I'm just like, well, can you not just appreciate him for what the graft he puts in? But I know it's a sort of balanced argument. But for him to get a goal, I mean, even when he scored against Tranmere, I was happy.
It was a great goal, though.
But that was on the spin, bottom corner, class, absolutely class. And I was just so happy for him because it really took the pressure off what was a very tetchy start of the second half.
Yes, yeah. But like I said, it's good for him to grab that goal because we've got to remember we've got a cup game coming up against Palace on Wednesday night, and
which he'll definitely be starting. 100% going to be starting. Yeah.
So that's great for him to bag that goal before obviously going into that game. So his confidence in front of goal should be higher, a hell of a lot higher than what it was previously. We will be seeing a lot of changes, I would imagine, during that Palace game. We're going into the Palace game, but we will be doing a match preview to cover that one as well, which probably Scott will be hosting for you. So that'll be going out at some point in the next couple of nights for you. But yeah, so we'll start with Almiron's goal. We'll then get Chris Wood's goal. Then Joe Willock gets a goal. It's somebody else who's probably deserved that as well.
100%.
Because I think we've spoke a lot on this channel about how Willock is a grower and not a shower.
Whereas,
Same.
Ditto.
I never grow anyway.
Oh, here we go.
But
real talk.
It takes a while to get into a game. He has done in the past.
Yeah.
But he's needed it. He's far from the Joe Willock that did get on loan. And I don't think anybody imagined would get that Joe Willock back because that was a flash in the pan sort of thing. It really was. But another player that has grafted his way managed to get that position in the starting 11 now. Obviously, it's helped with Joe Linton's suspension there, with him and Murphy and Willock, and obviously Shelby's injury as well. But Joe Willock's in there. He had a cracking game in the game.
Really I'm going to say, look, we'll probably get on Sean Longstaff. Got man of the match off Alan Smith, which is probably rightly deserved. I thought it was very good. I know he missed that.
Should have scored.
Should have scored. Yes, I know he should have scored. And he had a couple of wayward passes in the first half. But other than that,
twice he should have scored.
What was the second?
The first one was
offside. One of them was offside, though.
The second, the header, 100% should have scored that.
But either way, he played very well. But for me, my man of the match was Willock. He looked across the full 90 minutes one of our most dangerous players. He was taking the ball on. There was a time where the young Spanish fullback, I can't remember his name now, who went off injured for Southampton.
19-year-old left.
Yeah.
Right back,
he didn't look actually that bad. Actually, I thought he looked okay.
Tiny.
He was a tiny little boy. They had a very young back four, which I wish we would have exploited more, but I guess we sort of did. But Willock took him on, and he was getting a share pull, and he just shrugged them off, and he just looked dangerous. And even I think that's why after he scored his goal, to bring Shelby on, he takes Murphy off and goes to Willock. Yeah. You can play there. You can play where Murphy is, because he's shown his pace again. He's shown that he's dangerous. He's not just a midfielder who's strong and creative. He's a good force going forward. So yeah, it was a good finish. It's a very good improvised finish, by the way. I know they're saying it's a little toe poke, but I think he thinks the only way I'm going to get the accuracy in the bottom corner. When he hit it on the telly, I thought, he's just trickled that wide. But he's just literally just a little toe poke and then just into the bottom corner. I thought it was class.
No, he does. He absolutely buries that, mate. He really takes it really well. But we'll move on to the next goal. And so it is after the first 10 minutes in the second half. It's probably Newcastle would dominate that. It's.
I still think it was a strange game, Chris. I mean, you're going to get this more tomorrow, but all I'm going to say is my analysis of it was that we were the better with the ball and looked dangerous going forward. However, we for some reason, looked susceptible to making mistakes. Mm-hmm. We saw the likes of Sven Botman. He probably had his poorest game for us in terms of what we know him for in terms of passing the ball. Still great defensively, still great at getting the ball away, but he gave the ball away a couple of times. And Bruno grew into the game. He didn't start off the way we liked him to. Wilson obviously didn't only play first half. So it was a strange one because I think that's why the Chris Wood goal was so important. Getting that goal and creating a cushion made them come onto us more, and then we hit them on the break. And I feel like it wasn't like Newcastle in control as we've been used to. And like you said, the sort of the goal that we're about to talk about, it sort of
before. Hang on, I think my mic's gone off. Just carry on talking.
We're going to keep talking about Sven Botman.
Hello.
Are we back?
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back.
Go.
So, you mentioned Botman's passing there. It was off today. Yep. It really was.
There was that time in the first half that he passed it straight to one of their attacking midfielders, and they got a break from it.
Yeah.
And they were lucky to block it out. And but this is what I love about this team is the fact that, you know, if you've got a Sven Botman who isn't playing well, you've got Cher who is going to pick up the slack. You've got, you know, Bruno was growing into the game, but Longstaff was picking up the slack, you know. So that's why I'm so happy about this result, because, you know, not everyone was on their game, and we've still managed to put 4, granted past the team who weren't doing too well this season.
Yeah, you've summed that up quite well, as I've been away, mate. Apologies for that. Next goal.
Southampton's goal,
yeah.
Poor.
Talk me through that.
I think obviously he started the games
because of the changes that were made.
Maybe I think Elliot Anderson's went to 6s and 7s a little bit. I don't know who committed to the challenge and thought like it was good to slide in. I don't recall, but it was just one of those goals where it was like 5-a-side at the end of the game. You know, you've won, and someone just sort of jinks in, and it was a soft goal to concede. As much as it was a decent finish, it was a soft goal to concede, and it really dicked on my fantasy team, Chris. So I'm not very happy about it.
Don't get me started on fantasy Premier League at the minute, mate, because I think it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. It really is. But I think that goal. I think is it Dan Burn that did he just slide in out?
That was Dan Burn who came out of nowhere. Yeah.
Just absolutely just slide.
But Elliot Anderson was sort of just a spectator, and we looked really strong defensively down that right side. Kieran Trippier's on the pitch. We're not conceding that goal.
But it's one goal, mate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At no point when we concede that goal, I am worried whatsoever, because we've seen in the past, Matty probably thought the sky was going to
4-3.
But I'm not worried at that point. And it once again, so we'll move on to the last goal, Bruno's goal. The ability that Bruno has, where players don't close him down, is mental.
Well, that was like a carbon copy, not carbon copy, but he's hit that from this pretty much the exact same distance as his second Brentford goal.
Mental.
He's put it in the opposite corner.
So he walks with that ball, and he literally just takes a glance up and thinks, I can put it in that corner, and passes it into the corner.
It's not a screamer. No. It's one of those goals where it's just a little skipper, like I can put it round the side of the keeper. And it was just it was inevitable. You know, like I said, he didn't have the greatest game, but what a finish. What a player.
Do you know why it was inevitable?
Go on then.
Because I took him out of my fantasy team. This is why we don't talk about fantasy football these days.
Yeah, well. Okay. I mean, my fantasy football got shit on because of Cher and Pope not keeping a clean sheet, and I couldn't give a flying what's it.
It's a season right now, and I know how many games we played now? We're just shy of
14.
So we're just shy of halfway. We've got the break for the World Cup coming up, and it's a season that where you're enjoying massively right now.
It's wild.
So the Liverpool Spurs game is finished now.
What was the score?
So at this moment in time, Newcastle sat 3rd in the Premier League.
Spurs pulled it back, did they? No. Was it 2-1?
Third.
To finish 2-1?
Yeah, finished.
Holy
it's done.
shit.
I believe it's finished. I'm sure.
I was wondering why I was getting
somebody's
nosebleed.
coming in saying that we are third.
That's fucking crazy.
So no matter what happens on Saturday's game against Chelsea, we cannot drop below fourth going into that World Cup break. It's absolutely bonkers.
It's fucking mad. It's mad. And we can sit here and talk until we're blue in the face about certain things and the fact that, you know, your Liverpools aren't playing very well and your Chelsea's aren't playing well. But at the end of the day, that form that we've shown is still good enough to get us where we are.
Yeah.
It's the same reason, you know, you people talk about Arsenal and saying, you know, the people aren't playing as well as, but Arsenal have only lost one game all season. They're playing really well. They deserve to be where they are, and we deserve to be where we are. I won't lie, early doors, I thought that, you know, it could be a real learning period about sort of acclimatizing to be in this club in flux and trying to do what we need to do and going where we want to be, with the results against Bournemouth and Palace that were quite frustrating. But this run of form is bonkers. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's enjoyable. Every game has had we've won in different ways. There's games where we've totally what's the word I'm looking for? Just smashed opposition. Dominated. That's the word I'm looking for. But there's games where we've had to sort of dig in and then find the first goal and go from there. We've just shown such a variance in performance to get wins. It's amazing.
Before we go on, because we'll probably go for another 10 minutes before we wrap this one up. But if anybody does have any questions, send them our way. We'll go through as many as possible. Any members that are watching tonight, obviously, we'll read your questions first. So if you're a member of the channel, we'll obviously go direct.
And if you're not a member of the channel, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, so if you do want to become a member, it's as little as $2.99 a month. That's all that it costs. $2.99. You get early access to a lot of the content on this channel. You get extra content as well. You get access to the Telegram group as well. You'll see there's a handful of people in the chat at the minute that are members as well. They've got them little logos.
I mean, the logo alone is worth the money.
The logo alone is enough.
You have to pay what? How much does Elon Musk charge you to get a blue tick these days?
$8. We charge $2.99 a month.
Exactly.
But Matty, a lot of people have been mentioning there that we are going to be very happy fans and Geordies come Christmas Day, because obviously we're going to be spending Christmas Day in at least top 4.
All right, sorry.
I was
wondering where you're going with that.
But I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast yet, but we are actually going to be doing a Christmas special where, I don't even think I've told you yet, mate. So we're going to be doing a Christmas special where everybody's invited along. So anybody...
What, in here?
So it's going to be a bit of in and outs as well.
Okay.
So it's not recorded on Christmas Day. I just want to tell everybody, so Matty, we're not taking away from your family on Christmas Day. But we will be doing a Christmas podcast, which will be aired on Christmas afternoon as well.
Be good.
So the channel, we are recording things just to celebrate the last 12 months.
I look forward to that.
United fans.
I look forward to that. That's
no
going to be good.
Red and white Santa hats allowed.
Black and white
Black
ones.
and white
nice.
Santa hats only.
Nice.
Right, let's get straight into the questions. And it is from Esteban Roberto that says, do you think we can continue our form after the World Cup?
I mean, yes and no. Who knows? I mean, I'm the biggest pessimist. I know that I am, but I like to think that we're going to get rested. Callum Wilson, fingers crossed, goes to the World Cup and comes back unscathed. Isaac is ready by the time. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to get thrown straight into the starting lineup. He won't be, but to have that coming off the bench, to have Shelby, you know, fit and ready to play, to have options off the bench, and hopefully have a view into maybe bringing 1 or 2 in January. Who's to say we don't continue this? We've got a good run of games after Christmas, I do believe. I think we've got an all right fixture list. You know, I've got Leicester on Boxing Day, Leeds on New Year's. I think that's going to be putting the market down. Get 4 points off them, then ask me that question again. I think we get 4 points off out of Boxing Day and New Year's Eve, and we'll go from there.
I think these sort of questions, they're very hard to answer, and
because we're in literally unprecedented times, aren't we? With the way Newcastle are going on, the way where we want to go. I'm buzzing, and I'd love to say, yeah, of course we can keep the form up, but you'd get the same answer off Eddie Howe. You ask Eddie Howe, can you keep going? He'll say we're taking 1 game at a time, and that's all we can do, really, isn't it?
And mentioning Eddie Howe, I'll mention another podcast as well. His podcast with Jake Humphreys.
I'm looking
So the
forward to
High
that.
Performance podcast is actually going out tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
I believe it was delayed by a couple of weeks, but that is going out tomorrow. So it's something which I've been looking forward to for the last handful of weeks when he first mentioned that it was going to be aired. But like I said, it was put back. I don't know for what reason, but it was put back despite it already being recorded. And do you know what it is? This podcast with Jake Humphreys has been recorded a couple of weeks ago. We've then gone on from that moment again, as well.
Yeah.
So what we're going to hear in that podcast, we're even in better position.
The preview that got posted, didn't like Warflags post the clip?
So, actually, I don't think I'm allowed to say this.
All right, we'll just
carry on.
But no, what they did though, didn't they? Like that's it. Like we're allowed to say that because it's on Twitter.
So
but that clip was
posted that.
Clip was great, by the way. Like that made me so excited for it. Like the fact that he talks about striking that balance between being liked and being a football manager. Yeah. It's amazing, man. Amazing.
Next question is from Joe Patterson. People will recognize Joe. He's done a couple of match previews as well with us. The last couple he's done as well. This is what you get as a member as well. If you're a member, Joe's a member. Joe gets invited on and he does match previews with us too. Joe says, do you think we have the squad depth to keep this form up and also have a strong cup run or two? I'll start this one up. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're talking about squad depth, and I think we've proven at this moment in time that the squad depth is probably better than what we thought it was because we've had injuries to key players, likes of St. Maximum. So obviously Jacob Murphy's came in, filled in. Shelby's got injured. We've had other players come in, and obviously Isaac, who is our record signing. That
then
obviously he's played 2-3 games for us. So I think squad depth isn't an issue at this moment in time. Going into next season, then probably if we get a European spot, because you will have to basically upgrade a lot of players that are in that team.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. If we did get into Europe, I think our owners know that you need to probably have a similar window to what you did in January, probably bringing 5 players.
So speaking of the January transfer window, sorry, do you want to add anything to Joe's?
I think it's a tightrope with our squad. There has been games that we've won this the last 5 or 6 where you look at the bench and it's pretty abysmal, and it's no disrespect to the players on the bench. You just know that there's nothing there to change the game should you need to. And we've been lucky to score the first goal and go on to win your 1-0, 4-0, 4-1s and all that, 5-1s. But you know, I still like Ryan Fraser as an option if he's fit. I like Elliot Anderson as an option if he's fit. Murphy, you know, Murphy's Murphy. He's having a great spell at the moment. Personally, I just think he's just, you know, Murphy's quality wise.
I don't want to sound like a dick here, right? But I'm going to stick by what I'm saying. Murphy right now is doing a lot for his career after Newcastle United.
I don't think you're wrong in saying that at all. If people see him scoring goals and contributing, they're going to think, right, well, I'll take a point. Especially in the Championship. I mean, he went to Sheff Wed a couple of seasons ago and they loved him there. So I'm not trying to see off Jacob Murphy now, but I'm just saying about the options we have. But there has been games where we, because of injuries, have had a bench basically full of defenders bar one, and that's Chris Wood. And that's what worries you. So if we will manage to make 2 offensives, because defensively, touch wood, was sound with the options and stuff. If we were to make a midfield and a winger / forward signing in January, which might not happen. Yeah, let's just be serious. Like, it might not happen. If that was to happen, then yeah, I think our squad's good enough to do what we are.
Fire through a couple of these because a lot of these are to do with the January transfer window. And this one's the first one from Kieran that says, can't say the owner's not trying to capitalise by spending. Finishing 4th this year puts our plans in a hyper speed. I think we'll probably see that a lot quicker than what we were expecting in regards to January. I think obviously we're going to be in a very, very good position come January.
Yeah,
I think the owners will look at that and think maybe even one more key signing that can push you to secure those places.
Well, let's not forget that fifth season under Pardew, we made 1 signing in January, and it was Papa Stembasise, and he did push us on, to be fair. I don't want to repeat what I said after the Spurs game, because we all saw that. Everyone saw that with the black and white and the piano, which was not my idea. That was Scott who did that. But I'm just take every game as it comes and enjoy it. Just keep thinking, okay, we're here, there now, but don't think we need to be doing X, Y, and Z now. They've got a plan. they might expedite some spending, but they're not going to just throw all their eggs in one basket now just because we're in the top 4 come Christmas. It's still going to be just like steady as she goes, I think. But
we are ahead of plan.
We're ahead.
Massively.
They didn't think this was going to happen. But again, we're still halfway through a season. There's still a lot of more football to go. So I still think, yeah, I think we might get one surprise in January, but you never know. It could be just one player and that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Good surprise or a bad surprise? You just
we'll
keep
see.
one player.
Yeah, we know a good surprise.
Right. So a couple of more. A lot of these are associated, like I said, with January transfer window. So Lauren, who is a member, says, Lauren, who would you like us to sign in January? Which is followed up by Callum Lewis. That says, who would be your January transfer, Trossard or Maddison? For me, it's Maddison all day long.
It is all day long, but if someone said to me, flip a coin now out of them two, I'd just be like, I'd fling the coin and just like dance around because like I think both of them would bring it. It's like Eddie Howe says, like the signings you want to make ones that just make us better, not just sort of keep us ticking over. And I think both them signings would make us better. I've always been a fan of Trossard. I think he's a very good player, but this season he's having a proper exceptional season. There's no Muggs getting the Belgium team in the last 3 years, and he's been getting in that team. Well, at least getting called up. But this season, he's really proven his worth. Again, I'm not saying it's a done deal or we could prime away from Brighton, but he is good. But if I was to choose out of them two, yeah, 100%, it'd be James
Brighton
Maddison.
must hate us.
Why?
Just because, like, obviously we've gone in with. I know Danburn wasn't.
First
choice.
Okay.
But we're still Dan Ashworth. Now we're looking at Trossard.
Right. I didn't think about Big Dan Ashworth. It's all right. They beat us a few times in the FA Cup a few years ago. We're fine with it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Let off.
Live off that, you divvies.
Divvies.
But like Maddison, yeah, that would be an unbelievable signing. Obviously, there's the case of Yuri Tillemans that's sort of lurking about. Strange one for me because he's out of contract in the summer, I believe, or he's out of contract next summer. And there was a lot of stories saying
expires sooner than what Maddison's does.
But they're saying that like there was a chance he could have went for 35 million in the summer or something. If that's the case, I'm not saying it is, but a lot of journalists are saying that. Why aren't players teams going for someone like him? That's a big question for me. That, and I've heard rumours, and it's just conjecture. I don't know Yuri Tillemans, but you see what he can do with the football, and you've seen what he's done over the last 3 years at Leicester, and you wonder why no one's. So I'm just thinking.
So there's been a few comments tonight about Eddie Howe's tactics in regards to the transfer window and how you don't want to ruin the dynamics in the squad and in the dressing room, and rightly so. Eddie Howe has been on record a number of times saying that you need not just the right players and the right talent, but they need to have the right attitude and character to join this team.
Yep.
And you could probably argue both Tielemans and Maddison in regards to character, because Maddison's made headlines before for the wrong reasons. But most footballers do. And I think the move to Newcastle for either one of those players will probably put an end to that sort of things. I really think it would.
I don't know. There's no magic
unless they get to the big market.
Fucking hell. It can turn boys into men and men into boys.
That's why Willock lives out in the sticks.
I don't know, man. It's a strange one, and there's no magic one to change someone's character, and I think that's why Eddie Howe is so tentative and so, insistent on getting the right characters in, and that's why the likes of Lascelles is still seen as he's desperate to see him as still the club captain. He got quoted the other day saying about how important he is in the dressing room. It's why Matt Ritchie's still there.
Yeah,
it's why he didn't want him to sell him. It's because you don't want to just take out the old and bring in the new. You want to have a bedding in period, but to make sure that the right characters are in there to say, like, no one's coming in here and being a passenger. And
so, Kieran Bolton says that he's currently bored from most of the big market.
Why? Kieran, why?
Well, I'm bored from Pop World.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I'm not. I don't know if I'm bored, but I got kicked out of Pop World. But we'll not get into that.
Kieran, why are you bad out of most of the big market though?
I'm going to end on one last question. This is from.
Yeah, but tell me if Kieran replies though.
I'll tell you.
Okay, cool.
So Graham Dougal sends in also a member of the channel as well, who has also been on a match preview. See what I'm doing with it. Become a member, you'll get on a match preview. hopefully. He says, will Big Dan Burn go to the World Cup?
I don't see. He's not going to, probably. He'd probably take Mitchell or someone like that. But I just don't see why you wouldn't. Just as like a break glass in case of emergency. Left back gets injured, centre half gets injured. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's an English player who's started every game out of position, arguably, in the best defence in the Premier League so far this season. Just take him. Just take him because, like, you may as well because he can just slot in if you have a bit of trouble. And because of the size of World Cup squads now, like, he probably won't play, but just take him. Don't take an option where if the worst happens, it's like square peg round hole. Just take someone who's going to fit.
I'm with you.
And apparently he's like the best guy. He seems like the best guy. I'm sure he speaks to Eddie Howe, Gareth Southgate, and I'm sure Eddie Howe's telling him he is one of the changing room leaders. He's absolutely class. Lovely to be around the group. I'm sure everyone will love him. Like, take him.
Kieran has said that he's bought from Filthies and Passing Clouds.
Same bar, really.
Same, yeah. But because something to do with him going to his place of work with COVID. Also, Keller, Volts, and Louise, I used to work there. Not allowed in. That means he's been stealing from the till, doesn't it?
Kieran? Don't even want to know. I'm scared now, mate.
He's been stealing in the till.
Oh, Kieran.
But
allegedly.
I think
allegedly.
Right, you believe Dan Burn won't go, but for the wrong reasons. Yeah.
What do you mean?
In Southgate just won't pick him.
Yeah, because Southgate. Yeah.
I think the opposite. I think we will see 4 Newcastle United players.
4?
Yeah.
Oh, Pope. What about Pope?
4?
Pope, Trippier, Wilson, Burn. Sorry.
I think we'll see all 4 go.
I'd be buzzing. I'd be really proud of them. I'd be so proud of them.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Pope's going. We know Trippier's going.
Yeah.
But granted, he doesn't get injured between now and now.
Depending on what happened with Wilson.
But to see,
I said, it was more illness than injury with Wilson. But I think Wilson's name's already there.
And I think the Burn one would really just make me dead, like I say, proud in a strange way, because I know Wilson's already played for England. Trippier's done all sorts for England, and Nick Pope's always been there before he came to us. But for Dan Burn to come to us, he was seen as this sort of, I guess it's a solid sign for Newcastle. To come to us and have the form that he has, to have played his way into the England squad, that'd be awesome. That'd be so good. But we'll see.
A fairy tale story.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
It really is.
Geordie boy goes away down the south coast, comes back, comes home, gets in the England squad,
comes home, then brings it home.
Shit. Holy shit. Just not the big Mark, because Kieran will nick it.
Right, we're going to end it tonight. Thank you, everybody who has joined us tonight for this one. And there's currently 160 odd of you watching.
Lovely stuff.
Very much. So if everybody watching now, if you just want to like the video as well, it helps us out massively. And it helps us out reach everybody.
Do you know what they should do as well? Follow me on Twitter.
What? No, they shouldn't.
Yes, they should.
Why?
Because I've got like no friends.
You're the first person to sit around this table,
right,
asking for people to follow you on Twitter.
Well, why don't other people do it?
I think it's just because, like, just what they put on Twitter, like
desperation.
No, the things that they put on Twitter, like,
yeah, well, I don't put anything bad on Twitter.
So why? What?
Just follow me. It's great content. You'll get football content, wrestling content,
skating.
Nah. No, just them.
Right.
Just them 2 things, but it's pretty good though.
All right, but instead of following Matty, if you do want to become a member of the channel as well, like I said earlier, it is $2.99 a month. It gets you early access to a lot of videos. It gets you on match previews as well. So we do look at members first of all to join us on match previews. Like I said, we've had a couple of guys over the last handful of weeks join us that are part of the Telegram group as well, which once again, that comes with the membership. Just like the video, become a subscriber. If not, if you don't want to become a member, those 2 things will help us out massively. Enjoy the next couple of weeks.
Enjoy tonight.
Enjoy. Yes, we've got work coming tomorrow, but who cares? Go to work with a smile on your face.
Go for a few pints now. It's 10 to 7. I mean, you could have 4 pints right now.
You could probably have more if you wanted to. But yeah, thanks everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Obviously, like I said, we've got huge smiles on our faces. And you do it on your side as well. Enjoy this moment. Really enjoy this moment. We're doing it. Every Newcastle fan should be doing it as well. And just stick 2 fingers up at the top 6, because Newcastle United
currently in it.
Oh, he had to take over, mate. We really are.
I won't go that far.
See you later. Yes, we're definitely off. See you later. Ta-ra.
Bye.